So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is very early in the morning, and so I'm gonna have to speak quietly to be respectful. But seriously, once again, the very, very, very important point, which is just honestly at this point, common sense. We have to get rid of the criminals all throughout the upper parts of our government. Not only the parts of our government, obviously, because they're in other governments as well. EU, nobody wants it. Nobody wants the EU. Get out of the EU. Seriously, like we're getting out of it. Same thing over here. We got corruption and just basically just liars. Horrible, absolute, just hell bent liar criminals that have been really trying to screw up and continue to screw up the government and the country, and do not have goodwill of people in mind. They want a world without human beings. Now, I mean, everything about these criminals shouts enemy, screams enemy. These are enemies. And so, basically, I'm basically screaming at the top of my lungs. I want you to imagine that. I want you to hear that. I want you to hear me screaming at the top of my lungs. Arrest them. Throw tyranny into jail. Throw tyrants in jail. Do it. It needs to happen. It will happen. Those tyrants are going to jail. They are going to jail. They are going to jail for a very long time. Go to jail. Go to jail. Clearly, this basically domestic terrorism is gone rampant. This domestic violence and this domestic enemies, these domestic enemies need to get out, need to be rid of, need to be purged. They just have to be gone. They have to be gone. They're so bad that, nobody wants this much corruption. It's so bad, nobody wants this much corruption. Nobody does. So, once again, I stress, with all the importance in the start of this broadcast, that we clearly need to arrest those bastards. Now, well, the other thing is, and this, of course this is, I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, of course the listeners that know what I'm talking about. No, I'm just kind of repeating myself, but, I mean, the diplomacy is a normal thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with diplomacy. As a matter of fact, we need to do that. The importance of diplomacy, especially on this level that we're going to it throughout countries, is very healthy, pretty much. I mean, it's healthy. It's talking, it's working things out, it's basically acting like men and, going to figure out just to have diplomatic relationships. And that's the continuing of what you call a relationship. To have a relationship, you gotta start somewhere. You got to start, have to start somewhere. So, you got ambassadors, parts of the government that are doing their job, and then there's ridicule coming from nonsense corporate media controlled liars that only brainwash the small audience that they have. And once again, this is obviously repetition, but the point is, There are literal domestic enemies that make everybody's job harder because, everyone is affected. Of course, small businesses, my business, it's not about me, but other businesses and really, really big awakeners. I mean, and teachers and they're really describing what's going on fully in an active way, such as Infowars.com, Alex Jones, David Knight, Anthony Gucciardi, John Paul Jones. Technically, yes, his legacy does live on. Paul Joseph Watson, Roger Stone, and Edward Grew. Edward Grew, definitely. So these are huge changes, huge impacts. We are a part of this amazing time. We need to make action, take action, which is what we're doing. But it's important to be supportive. We have to be supportive of our leadership. But that's good. The good parts of our leadership. And we know pretty much who the criminals are. The criminals know who the criminals are. Criminals are afraid that they're going to jail, so they're not giving up for some reason. So we're gonna. I mean, there's so much might. There's so much. There's so much anger that this has been going on this long, and this is happening to our country. It's just absolute. Just absolute takeover. This is horrible. I'm gonna crush them. I'm crushing them, and man, I am done. I'm true American pissed. I am fully ticked off. You do not mess with our freedom. You do not mess with our rights. You do not mess with us. They're going to get what's coming to them. Right now. Done wearing me out. Yeah. We can move on. So this is basically what we're trying to move on into, which is what I've been excitedly talking about with my previous, but the point is, this is literally the connecting points. This, for example, this diplomatic relationships is to start toward a more peaceful world. But, these, and I have to reiterate this really quickly. If these guys aren't backing down, they're not gonna give up. They're evil. I mean, they're bad. They're enemies. They're true, legitimate enemies, and it's just it's constant. And so that's why we just got to do everything we can. I mean, come on. I mean, this is just ridiculous. The amount of just onslaught. Literally all fronts. That we're pretty much being attacked on. I mean, everywhere. And it's just irritating. Not to mention all the solutions that could exist, the positive healing that is either not known, either kept secret, either kept from us purposely. And that's kind of what annoys me the most, is because there are solutions to everything that already provide fuller scale solutions. That's what I really want to talk about, because that's a really big point. Housing. there's a major solution to that. Major, like huge. The housing in general, and this also increases the value of house and increases the standard of living to a next sort of advancement stage of civilization that we're supposed to do. Supposed to live in. It's the fact that, energy devices to run the house, and different materials, making the house sturdier and stronger. Different architectural designs, such as dome-shaped circular houses, domed houses that make houses dust-free because of the geometrical shapes of housing. This is something that's so key, so important, especially the fact that all of that can be done for perhaps what could be compared to basically free. I mean, that's what we're really going into, because right now, in a sense, we had, and I say this is as past tense because it's not going to be a real big problem, because this is the solution. We had a problem with resources. We had a problem with the belief in scarcity. In fact, that there's no such thing as scarcity, and that's the truth, and that's going to be coming out soon. Oh, goodness gracious. And that reminds me of something else I need to go into. But yes, there's really, it's kind of a false scarcity thing. And it's not good. It's not good for us. This false sense of, previously how our government and parts of and corporations and all that jazz, that they're involved with us, but and they're working for our good, but that's a whole other story. But I digress. The housing is an easy solution, because why? It's a problem because that is very expensive. Housing is expensive, but it's not. When we can transform all the stuff easily, just for example, as a hobby. And what I mean by that is, we have a lot of space, and that's the other thing. Underground living, without the radiation from the sun or from anywhere. For example, crystal caverns and hollow earth. That's obviously a lot of space. So overpopulation is not a valid argument or a valid cause at all. There's no such thing as overpopulation. We cannot be overpopulated. We cannot. There's no way. You can only fool the dumb people, dumb idiots. That was kind of disrespectful. You can only fool the weak-minded who sway to the fake stream media. I don't like the fake stream media, not one bit. So, once again, we need to rate this onslaught is just relentless, and these enemies are going down. So, that's good. Now, back to the housing. Fully self-sufficient. That's what I'm going into. House is fully self-sufficient housing, and you don't have to pay for it. There's nothing detrimental about having that house. So that's what I'm getting into. That's what I'm getting to when I say that. Medical. It's the other big problem. Medical bills are high. We have surgery, we have pills. We have checkups, we have doctors. We have care. We have urgent care. We have emergency care. We have all types of and forms of care that are in the hands of surgeons, of anesthesiologists, orthopedics, etc., trauma surgeons. The ability to heal the human body is spectacularly easy, miraculous, and way better than we can ever possibly imagine. Well, okay, it's better than what we previously imagined. Literal healing, literal regrowth, literal age regression, literal life extension is something that should be available to all the world's people. Everybody, just out in the open. That is just kind of common sense. I mean, when you look at it, it's like when you find out about this, you can't be fooled anymore, and that's the important key thing, which also pisses me off. I'm basically throughout this entire podcast, I'm basically screaming. I'm basically yelling at the top of my lungs, just absolute, just rage, just madness, just freaking pissed offness, just absolute. This is a type of technology that's been known and been in use for a very long time. For a very long time, for decades, since before I was born. And there's all types of diseases which are really caused from literal intentions by, and this has to be known, so of course, my intelligent audience knows this, a little bit literally has been intent, like literal focus on bringing down the human body, on breaking down the DNA structures and to break down the body's ability to be in homeostasis, to be rejuvenative, like it's naturally supposed to be. There's way too many chemicals, toxins, poisons, and just diseases that result from manipulation, negative manipulation of something that we can ingest. That's been placed in food and water and in the air. This is already known. This has been going on for a very long time, and it needs to stop. And I say that with pure, real conviction, like the real American I am. The other thing is transportation. Transportation is, once again, a lot more safer, a lot more efficient, and a lot more effective with the actual truth of what actual transportation is supposed to be, which involves, for example, zero-point energy, anti-gravity, like I've been harping for a very long time, which is why I'm incredibly pissed off about this being a problem when it really isn't. So, I mean, transportation being the problem, and I don't really need to reiterate this, but transportation is at a whole nother level. That's where it should be. Not in forms of just traveling from one location to the next on planet Earth, but out into space. We gotta get rid of these criminals. We gotta get rid of these criminals. The ability to travel is really magnificent, but basically, we should. Of course, the industries are important because they have jobs, and that's good. And then we gotta have a lot more of those jobs, and Americanism is coming back. American made, by Americans, for Americans, in America. At the same time, when you find out about the suppressed technologies, the suppressed patents, and you discover them, and then you learn some of the names and the companies that are behind suppressing these technologies that should have been out decades ago, and the just the force, the will to, or just that, just the pure. I mean, I don't even know what to call it. Just monstrous effort to suppress and to not allow this to come out to the entire world in the open, into the free market. All types of technologies, which I'm tired of repeating myself with, but that's why it's so important for people, for example, like Stephen Greer, to do their job, and he's been doing it for a very long time. I have a lot of respect for him. And for Tom Bearden, and for all of those guys, all of those men and women who've been not only fighting for the release of those technologies to make a peaceful, enlightened world, but for the inventors, and for the actual, everything they've been doing to promote it, which is why I definitely suggest full on support. I mean, monetarily, financially, to their cause. Now, I definitely intend to make donations, but I probably shouldn't be speaking about that on air. But yeah, I really do care. Really do care about that. It's huge. It's really, really big, and it's really, really important, and it's really, really awakening, and it's really, really special, and I care about it so much because I care about planet Earth, and I care about human beings, like a natural human being would. Now, obviously, that if you know him, you know him. Obviously, this guy is one tough cookie. So, seriously, that transportation has been kept secret. The technologies are stuff like over Unity, desalination for all types of pollutions, for water, of course, for free energy devices, which can be applied to any type of mechanical operation device or anything like that. Zero-point energy devices, electromagnetic vehicles, just advanced technology and life forms, and CE5. CE5 is a really big deal too. CE5 is a very, very big deal. And so, I definitely want to reiterate that. Very, 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 I am seething. Very, very important that these technologies do not be suppressed anymore. And of course we have to fight as hard as we can. And we already have been, so that's good. And of course continue to support the small businesses and businesses that are good for people, and good people, helping humanity. That's what we do naturally. Should do naturally, but we got enemies that are enemies. The other thing is, that's just transportation. Food. Food should be elevated at a whole new level once again, because it's literally not necessarily what it should be. And it's the other thing I want to mention, is combining this stuff with the ocean, and this is very, very key, because the ocean literally has life-giving nutrients, sustenance that it wants to give us, and it's so good. It's good for life in the ocean, and it's good for us. It's a natural, a garden, an ecosystem, and it's beautiful to live in, and it's so, so great, dude. I mean, it's not that hard to eliminate pollution and all that stuff, and it's what I'm combining is the amount of healthy food that we could be eating, ingesting. It should, of course, be next level. I mean, life force, like food with life force in it. I'm talking about not manipulated food, manipulated with genetic engineering and all that stuff, negative ways, GMOs and all that stuff, negative ways, but really the positive natural life of Earth. I mean, that's how life functions, trees function. In a sense, I'm once again beating the dead horse, and of course my audience already knows about this, but the Agarthian land is massive. It's way larger. Everything is larger there because it's not the same environment as on the surface that we have here on the surface. The trees are bigger. The plant life is larger. The animals are larger. Everything is larger. And it just grows naturally. And the air is cleaner, a lot cleaner. The water is pure. The water is alive. The water is consciousness. Water has consciousness. So that's why I reiterate the importance. Of food, of which was a problem, and it's not necessarily just food, but anyway. Actually, I already mentioned that. It's not just the food, but I digress. The other thing is just intent. It's good that we also focus on how there actually are a lot of positive things that are going on. So that's good. Such as, they're actually pretty much countless. They're huge, they're massive, and there's things happening on another scale that are very good for humanity in general. There's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of good guys doing everything they can. So these are epic times. These are terrific times. These are fantastic times. And most of the audience that knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. The other thing is that's important to reiterate. Is just the fact that our ability to, I'm just going to get to the point, our ability to work positively is limitless. So, like I always say, we really should be going to the stars. We can co-create a wonderful, beautiful reality. We can eliminate all poverty and replace it and grow from it into a beautiful renaissance, a true renaissance, a golden age, for all beings on planet Earth. That's next level. It's beautiful. I'm really excited because that's true vigor. That's true impact. That's true. Americana. That's true men and women working to build a better civilization. And that's what human beings do. That's what our ancestors did. That's what we can do. That's what we are doing. It's important, and that's what must happen. And I'll make sure that it happens. I really, really care about human beings. So we really care about human beings. So we know, we're gonna win. God's on our side. We must defend our Constitution. We must defend our country against enemies, foreign and domestic. We must defend ourselves and our posterity against enemies. These enemies are known, and they're going to jail. They're going to jail. They are going to jail. It's also clear cut to make sure that it's obvious that the focus and intent is put on the positive change, not on the fake stream media. Focus should not be put on the fake stream media. Nobody likes the fake stream media. And it goes beyond that, of course. It goes way beyond that. I'm not going into the details because I don't want to hammer it. I mean, I do want to hammer it, like literally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I want to get rid of the fake stream media. It should be gone. It's weird because, not weird, but a natural human instinction kind of thing when you're like, I want to know what's going on, and you got fake stream media, and it just irritates me. They're bad. Of course they're, oh dude. The dishonesty that goes on there, and then this deception that's just spread out wide is not good. So the positive things are winning, the positive changes are accelerating, and the vitality of true Americana, the vitality of the world, of the human beings, is rising, is evident. You can't stop us. We're a force of good. We're unstoppable. We care, we're passionate, we're focused, we're determined, we're committed. We are able, we're willing, and we love to win. We love to fight the good fight. We love to be on the right side of history. And honestly, the truth is, the enemies are, it's not, it's going to be a wonderful thing of the past. it's going to be amazing how we are able to get through this. I mean, we know the full story. We know exactly what's going on, and we're awakening to it, and we're throwing criminals in jail. And then there will literally be no corruption. There will be the exact opposite of degradation. There will be rejuvenation. There will be regeneration. There will be reproduction. There will be life. There will be liberty. There is liberty. There will be even more liberty. There will be even more freedom. There will be the pursuit of happiness. This is a positive co-creative force. This is George W. Dresden, your host. As George W. Dresden, I, do everything I can, in a sense. And it's good that we are waking up. That we have awoken. That we are fighting the good fight.